Happy to be
Brandon.
here. It's super exciting.
I can feel the enthusiasm.
I'm super excited. this is
But
COVID.
right,
This is just constant demeanor.
you have been offline. You've been at Bloomberg for almost 13 years since
Yes.
graduation
Yes.
and have held various positions at
Yes.
the firm. So would you mind just giving our audience a little blurb about how you got there and rose into the ranks to be the HNIC?
Sure. Look, it was. I didn't expect it. I ended up, I think, at Bloomberg, not on accident, but I wasn't, coming out of undergrad. I wasn't sure what I'm going to do. So I was going to do consulting, going to go to banking. At one point, I think I wanted to intern for Diddy and go into A&R. I was like, should I do retail? And I couldn't decide. And then the Bloomberg opportunity came up, and it was for a sales role. So kind of get in there, understand the markets. And my thought was, I'll go there for a couple of years, figure out what I want to do, leave, and do something else. And the market crashed in 2008. I got there in 2007. Market crashed in 2008. So it wasn't a great time to leave. And I also was doing well there in a pretty short amount of time. So, one thing led to another. I was part of our sales team leading our efforts for corporations for a while and our foreign exchange business in Northeast. And, another inflection point, I was like, okay, I want to get out of sales. What do I do? Where do I want to go? And I had worked a lot with marketing at Bloomberg previously, because marketing was new at that point. Marketing as a department didn't come into fruition until about 10 years ago at Bloomberg. So it was a new thing. We tried to figure out how to leverage it in an organization that was really built on sales and salespeople. So I was like, all right, let me give it a shot. One of my degrees from Wharton is in marketing, so it wasn't such a far shot. So I was like, let me give that a chance and see what it's like. And that was 6.5 years ago. And since then, I've climbed up the ranks a bit. We're now oversee all of our marketing for financial products, which simply means anything related to the financial tools we sell. So for mostly what people know Bloomberg for. So not the media side, obviously, but the side that, we have hundreds of thousands of clients around the world leveraging our financial data, analytics, news, et cetera, to do their jobs and make money for themselves and make money for others. So that's what I do. So that's kind of the quick synopsis.
It was very thorough because you answered two follow-up questions in your response. I wanted you to expound upon what exactly your role is and what you said in market, rather, and you did.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and it's interesting at Bloomberg, so we do everything in-house. So it's an interesting role. So I manage the teams that build a strategy for all the audiences that we sell to. So it's those folks are looking at, okay, who we're going after, what are we trying to sell them, what's the best way to do it, what products do we have, and then leveraging all our internal resources. We do everything in-house. We have our own in-house agency, so it's cool because you really get to touch every piece of it. So it's been fun enough to keep me there this long. It's a very interesting place. It's in a world everyone says things are flat, Bloomberg is still pretty flat organization, which also makes it fun. You can walk to Mike's desk, you can walk to our chairman's desk, you can ask them a question about something, you can, give an opinion or an idea. So it's very cool in that way. And, I think what keeps people, interested in working there, and what's kept me interested there for so long.
Right, because nowadays it's very rare that someone stays at one company for, even 3 to 5 years. So your longevity speaks to the company. Because you're definitely, to me, a no-nonsense type of person. And obviously you're not going to say you're not happy. Clearly, they've done an excellent job in terms of the culture and the growth that you've been able to achieve. And obviously you did very well in the beginning, like you said, so.
Yeah, look, I tell everyone, keep everyone honest. The job should be symbiotic. As much as you are, blessed to be in a situation where you can say, I want this, and you're giving just as much back, you have to keep them honest. So, I could have I would never be there if I was in the same position I was at, if I didn't push for different roles or, put myself out there to get exposure to other people, to get offered other roles. It would become redundant, and I say every 2 to 3 years, I kind of reflect on, am I happy? What I want to do? Is this where I want to be still? Am I having fun? And you don't have to have fun every single day, but if you're going months and you haven't had fun, then you need to look, and can you have fun where you're at, or do you need to go look somewhere else? So, it's not like I've never looked anywhere else, but, I've always been able to find what I need there. And, I always say, get the most out of what you have now before you go and make that big move to something else, because it's going to be much harder to come back. So I'm still milking it. And, I'll milk it till it's dry, and we'll keep keeping everyone honest. But yeah, that's kind of my motto.
Love it. And you mentioned, I have no choice but to go there, that your access to some of the senior level people within the firm, and one of those people just happened to be running for president.
Yep.
Without getting into too much detail, like, what was that like working for a presidential candidate?
Uncle Mike, look, it's it was cool. It was different. And, you can't really, it feels like so long ago now with all the COVID-19, but back when that was happening, it was a lot of internal chatter, before and after, because, there was thoughts of, even 4 years ago that happening and ended up not happening. So what had happened this time? And, it's something, it's something that I felt strongly about wanting to do, but, it's, can you do it? Does it affect, the whole thing? Is he an independent or a Republican or a Democrat? Is it going to cannibalize another candidate? So there's lots of things, and you hear all that chatter internally, the comms folks, because you have a lot of people playing double duty at this point. People whose job was to do something one day, now with the campaign, they're now holding to do something else. So it's interesting to hear kind of some of the inner workings and thought process that goes into it, and all the consultants and advisors to even go into it. And even the conversations I would have with people who would be like, oh, Mike's running, and they know him for one piece, and I would somehow be 20 minutes later pitching them on why he was a potentially good candidate, political or not political, but just kind of like giving him a fuller picture. He's not just about banning big gulps and stopping smoking, which are all great things, but the fact that he does have a lot of money, and he can't be bought. And if he has 4 or 5 key tenets that he cares about, and if you align with those, that he's going to do that, nothing else, because he doesn't owe anyone anything else. So there's pieces to it of the way whether you agree with everything or not, knowing someone is exactly how they seem is unfortunately novel these days.
You have to respect it.
Exactly. You can't be bought. When no one has more money than you, no one can buy you.
Right.
So it's it was interesting, and ended up not working out, but I think it was cool just to see how that little piece of how that machine works to run for president.
That reminded me of a meme. I forgot. It says something. I can't wait. Basically to get enough money to actually be the person I really am.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I respect it. I like it. So
yeah, no, hey, look, he can do whatever he wants to do. Look, he still shows up to work every day. I mean, so there's different qualities that are interesting, and once again, talking about Bloomberg and being there so long, a lot of that of the company is a reflection of him, and the fact that he comes to work, and he'll always say, our job is whatever needs to get done. If you see a piece of garbage in front of you today, you're a janitor, pick it up. If you see someone that needs help with something, that is, we can't get so boxed in. And I think that's how also I've done well. And, if I see something and I have an idea, maybe it's not marketing, or maybe it wasn't sales, or maybe it wasn't this, but, there's no one blocking you from giving an opinion, giving your insight, helping out, pitching in. And it's not just saying it and giving someone else to do, but actually, saying it and bringing action with it. So, that resonates with folks, and especially resonates there.
Very cool. So now I can see more about why you're still there. Now your shirt, your sweatshirt says weirdos and regulars.
Yes, versus regulars.
Versus regulars.
Yes.
Because I consider myself slightly weird, so weird is not necessarily a bad thing.
Weirdos are optimal here. Regulars, no one. The the point of it is no one wants to be regular. I mean, I don't think anyone, if someone were to describe someone as regular, I don't think anyone would take that necessarily as a glowing compliment.
Right, who wants to be a basic?
No one wants to be basic. So the point of this, and this is actually one of a guy I went to high school with. He has a company called Rich Weirdo, and that's what this is from. It's all about just embracing your creativity and that side of you that may be labeled as weird, but it makes you different and unique.
Rich Weirdo?
Rich Weirdo.
Yeah, I like it.
Super cool stuff. He started a clothing line all kind of on his own. But I just like the messaging that it has. But to your question, at this point, I think I've hired most of the people that report either directly to me or levels beneath there. And they all are a little bit weird in their way. That only means they're all creative. They all think differently. They all have their own way of approaching stuff. I'm all about fit. I need to, if I don't want to come to work and work with you, it's probably not a good fit.
Right.
It's been a conscious effort to make sure everyone has a little bit of weird in them, just to fit into the group. We're not looking for boring, regular, basic people. We're looking at, and look, it's marketing too. You can't be regular.
That's true.
You have to have a sense of creativity in there. Working in finance and marketing, you have to be creative, but you also have to have ROI and show KPIs and really, kind of be able to articulate the value you're adding. But still, if you're a marketing person, you're looking to add something to the table that no one else can. You're sitting with product folks, sales folks, they are looking to you to tell them something they don't already know. So I'm all about the weirdos.
Team Weirdo.
Team Weirdo.
This podcast is called Brit Happens, and everything that you mentioned seemed amazing. Like maybe the LinkedIn applications are going to start to flood, but life is not all peaks. So would you mind sharing an instance or two professionally where you were like, what the hell, how am I going to pivot? How am I going to rebound? And the thought processes or...
Sure. I mean, I alluded to it earlier, when I left, I was in sales and business development at Bloomberg for six and a half years. And, I did relatively well there, but, at a certain point I was like, I don't like this anymore. It isn't for me. It was a good experience, but I want to kind of do something else broader now. And I didn't know where I wanted to go. I interviewed lots of places, sales types jobs, strategy jobs, and, just nothing was the fit I was necessarily looking for. So, it's one of those things you get a situation where, you almost start to feel desperate. It's like, I don't like the situation I'm in, but I can't find what the next situation, I don't have this clear path of exactly what I want to do next. I just know I don't love this. So that was, for a few months, so I was just like kind of this conflict. And, once again, it goes back to kind of putting yourself out there. And, even when you don't know you're interviewing for something, you're interviewing for something. So, the work I had done with the marketing team, the area and audience that I covered was where we first started doing marketing. So I had a lot of experience with them. I pushed the sales team to kind of work with them a little more, kind of as their kind of sales advocate. And that was noticed by, our CMO at the time and some other folks. So, when they found out I was looking around and would potentially maybe be leaving, they're like, no, come over here. We have a spot. I think you'd be great. And, once again, I didn't know if it was the right thing, but I knew it wasn't the wrong thing. And I knew that I would at least get some additional experience and more breadth under my belt. So at the very least, if I hated it, now I have sales and marketing roles. And I can, leverage that, because all that, as long as you have that next step navigated, the rest will kind of, fall in place a bit. So that was, something that, who knows, it's kind of luck, preparation, meet opportunity, everything kind of came together. And then from there, it's been, pretty rapidly where I got up to speed and was able to do pretty well thus far.
When you said, I knew that I wasn't happy where I was, so I started to think about what's the next direction.
Yep.
Which I respect, and that's the same thing I would do. One of my biggest pet peeves with anyone is someone who's not happy, but all they do is complain rather than, everyone's entitled to vent, but after the second time, if you can't present any actionable solutions. Either shut up,
Yeah.
or shut up, or like do something.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
I just
But
have
yeah,
to
look,
out.
no one's gonna do it for you, and everyone
Right.
has their own issues. So no one wants to hear, all the time. What do you do? Look, I went on dozens of interviews. It was like I was trying to figure it out. Each one would tell me what I didn't want to do, or maybe guide me to what I, did want to do, and then out of nowhere something pops up that I wasn't even on my radar. That became the opportunity. So it's you got to put in the work, and you hope that things work out,
Right.
eventually. And so far I've been lucky that they have generally.
I would say that's an understatement. I mean, Brandon is clearly being very humble. I think they've worked out amazingly, and we're still super young.
We are.
A little bit too. So the sky's the limit, lots of
30 to do 20, that's what I say.
Right.
But with more disposable income.
Exactly. Okay. You have a beautiful family. Wait, 2 kids now.
Yes. Avery and Emerson.
Oh, what's their names again?
Avery and Emerson.
Oh my God, aren't those the most stately, bougie names? I love it. Oh, I love it.
Has to look good on a resume.
Exactly. They need to call you back, and
exactly.
It's only when you see them that they'll be there. But right, how do you balance your personal family life with all that you're responsible for at this large firm?
I set boundaries early. Even for whatever role, even when I wasn't managing anyone, and I was just doing my thing. I always I said I'm going to come in at this time and I'm going to leave at this time, and if there's extraordinary situation, something that needs to get done, you put in extra time, but otherwise, things will be there tomorrow. Like, I say my job, I'm not saving lives. I work in finance. Like, we're helping people make money, and there's an infrastructure to our economy that, we are definitely aiding, but we're not, I'm not on the clock, doing heart surgery. So if I decide at 5:30 versus 6:30 versus 7:30, it probably won't change a lot what will come the next day. And, I would say people set those boundaries early, because some people will come in and it's like, oh, I'm going to work 14 hours a day. Well, you know what? They're going to expect to work 14 hours a day for your foreseeable future. If you come in and you set those you get your work done. Don't get me wrong. It's not about you leave and it's like, where did they go? But you get your stuff done and you're out at whatever reasonable time, then people respect it. Like, okay, well, he gets his stuff done. He leaves at time. I don't have an issue. And so I tell that of everyone. I will literally, if I'm home and I log in and, we could see what people are logged in. I see someone log 8 o'clock. I'll say, why? Like, what are you working on that has you on right now still? Or if someone's complaining that, oh, I'm working, 15-hour days. My question, I'm not saying, oh, good job. I'm saying why? Like,
right.
What's not efficient about your workflow? And I'll have plenty of conversation. I'll walk through, have someone map me the past week, every single thing they've done. And we'll point out where they're being inefficient and how they can do that quicker. Maybe they're not communicating the right way, or maybe they're going about something in a wrong way. Maybe they don't know a process that is correct. But that's, efficiency is a passion of mine, but you need the balance, and you need process, you need efficiency to make sure you have that balance, because it's not all about work. Like, what's the point of working if you're not enjoying
exactly
the side of it? It's
right, work and then die. What's the point? I don't
exactly. I work because I enjoy doing it, but I also like making a paycheck, so I can use that money to have fun and do things, and go on trips and vacations and buy toys for the kids, and go out to nice dinners. Like, that's fun, and feed my technology habit and buy every gadget I can possibly think of. So
I'm happy you mentioned that. I didn't know that you were that was one of your guilty pleasures.
Oh yeah, I'm a big tech nerd.
Okay.
Tech and travel are kind of my thing. So it's all about enjoying that. So obviously when they get married and then the kids come along, it's already built in there that I prioritize, and if anything, prioritize even more to make time to enjoy it, to be home before they go to bed, and we have dinner and all those things, just because it wouldn't be sustainable for me otherwise.
Right.
And, it's in a day, it's about what you prioritize. Some people don't prioritize, and that's fine. And depending on your situation, where you're at, you can prioritize different things. When I was 24, 25, I was traveling 3 days a week. I was on planes every other day. I was doing 150 flights a year. So it was much different. And now I'll do longer trips, but less often, but I still, I have to deal with Avery calling me and saying, where are you? Or she'll put her foot down. Like into last year, she told me, I think it was a trip in December. She said, "This is your last trip of the year." So I was like, all right. Well, she's 5 now. She was 4 at the time. She's going on 40. She is an old soul, as they say. But she told me that's it. No more trips. Even now with the calls, she'll tell me no more calls today. I'm like,
oh, that is so cute. And she's really your daughter. Like that's
oh yeah,
super high level intelligence.
Oh yeah. If you met her, you'd be like, if you found her in a crowd, you'd be like, I know your father. Yeah.
Well, you mentioned something that you're not doing heart surgery, which got my mind spinning. But right now with COVID-19, people are having heart attacks with their finances. So I'm curious, how has business changed or the environment?
I mean, it's great. I mean, look, for us at Bloomberg, we've been lucky. What we do and the service we provide hasn't been immediately affected by it, just because banks and financial firms and folks, that's still happening. It's happening differently. We've had to adjust how we engage with our clients and things like that, with everyone work from home. But we haven't been affected in that way as much. Where we've more, from my standpoint, what I've more focused on is the folks who work for me and around me, who have different situations, who do have people that either they've been sick. I've had multiple people on the team who have had it and been through it and got COVID and got cured, or people who are their relatives who have had it and either got cured or still sick, have passed away from it, let alone folks who are by themselves. I have a team that is, you would say relatively, some folks are younger and they're, mid to late 20s, some folks where they're by themselves. They're in a 1-bedroom apartment in New York City by themselves and haven't, interacted with people in the past, 3-4 weeks, so that's, there's a mental health toll. You have to just be conscious. We try to be super clear to people, like, this is not the end of the world. If you're not, logged in, if you have to miss a meeting, if you, just can't, follow on something right away, it's fine. Like, it is, nothing's that serious, compared to, physical health and mental health. So it's, it's just interesting. And it's just trying to constantly remind yourself it's a different mentality maybe you might have had if this wasn't happening. So there's a level of compassion and empathy that everyone just has to take on a bit. So that's it's interesting.
It's so interesting though, and I didn't mean to cut you off. When I think Bloomberg, I think obviously the ultimate white collar Wall Street. No, but everything that you've mentioned seems very like you all have a heart, which is awesome. I just didn't peg the company culture to be anything like that. So
it's I mean, one thing about Bloomberg, and I'll say this to everyone, interviewing people or whatever, what people like about it's the people. And I think, as much as the same things I'm saying, you would hear the same thing from Mike and the other senior leadership there. It's we want our people to be happy and we want people to be safe and healthy. And what's cool is you have that side in the company, but then you have where Bloomberg is donating, masks, or Bloomberg is paying for all these initiatives to fight COVID, and, the whole initiative we have with every town, with all the mayors around the world, and just, giving money, not just money, we usually give people in consultation for how do you handle, certain types of things. So that also helps that morale, because people feel like, we're in business and we're lucky, we're not, right now worried about jobs. But also work we're doing, all those profits are then funding to help a broader scope. So that's one of our selling pitches, and what kind of, I think it helps during all this, you hear a lot of negativity. So if you feel like what you're doing plays a small piece into, helping,
it boosts your spirit.
It does. It makes it feel like it matters a little more. I have a whole thing about meetings. Like, I hate the standard 30 or an hour. What's wrong with a 17-minute meeting? I like standing meeting. Once we're done, don't get me wrong, I like to chit chat. So we can chit chat, but once that initial meeting's done, everyone who doesn't want to talk can leave. We don't need to fill time.
Thank you. You don't need FaceTime. People don't need to stay till 11 o'clock to prove you're better than the next.
Oh no, yeah.
That for me shows that you're not efficient, like you were saying earlier.
Yeah, anti-FaceTime. It's
oh my gosh, we need more managers like that.
Which is one of the reasons I didn't go into finance initially. Like, actually into like a bank, because I was like, I know mentally I can't, if I'm gonna sit here till 11 o'clock just so someone sees me sit here, nah.
That's
good.
not for you.
No.
Okay. All right, clearly. Okay, Brandon, what would you tell yourself 10 years ago?
It's all going to work out. I mean, I think I would say, tackle every opportunity. So, do as much as you can within each period, try. And I think I did for the most part, I took on different roles, tried different things. But, get as many experiences under your belt as possible because, different stages of life will allow you to do different types of things. So, I would say do maybe a little bit more of that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, just I mean, if anything, just kind of, I don't know. I start out saying, say everything will work out, but even that might take away some of the tenacity and some of that anxiety that you kind of need. So, I wouldn't want to get comfortable. So I don't know that I would tell myself anything. I'll kind of just watch and,
okay.
Knowing that everything did, I wouldn't want to mess that up.
All right.
I just think of like butterfly effect too. I don't want, I take it very literally.
Right. You need some amount of stress. I'm definitely stressed out way too much and get anxious over any little thing. But if you have no fire under your butt, like
100%. 100%. You don't want to know everything's gonna be fine, or else you're not gonna.
Right. You're gonna be a slacker or a regular, and who wants to be a basic?
No one wants to be a regular. So
okay.
So I always say I would do all this stuff the same, and I usually say no regrets. But I was thinking about this recently. Only people who are in a good position say they don't believe in regrets. So I think it's kind of a, I think it's a fine thing to say, but it's like, yeah, but the person who's like lost their job or is in a bad spot, they're not going to say, oh, I don't believe in regrets. Right. Like, I regret these 8 things because I'd love to be in a different position. People, so I won't say that, but I'm happy with the decisions I've made thus far.
They've definitely proven fruitful, clearly.
So far, so good, but I'm never satisfied.
That's what keeps you, that's why you've ascended so quickly, which is staying hungry. Okay, I mean, yeah. All right.
Very superstitious as well.
You are?
I'm very superstitious as well.
Travel, tech, superstition, and efficiency.
Yes. Yeah, you tell me up 4 words.
I was trying to think of an acronym, but my brain's not. Like, I'm like, okay.
Don't ask me. I was trying to think if you had a vowel in there. I can't think.
E.
There we go.
Okay.
I'm sure something.
Right. I'll figure this out. I'll write it in like the caption description.
Exactly.
How has it been for you rising as a Black man in this industry, in the financial services industry and in marketing?
It's look, it's interesting. There's in most cases not someone before you that looked like you ever. There's never been a Black person in my role. There's never been a Black person in the previous role.
Corona.
Stop. See, I don't be like those memes where I like trying to hold the coffin. That's just because I didn't bring any water.
Right. But yeah, sorry.
Nope. I'll hold my breath for 10 seconds if you want to test it out, but I think I'm good.
I wasn't gonna say anything the first call.
Rude. It's rude.
I'm sorry.
I think I'm gonna disclaimer on you. I gotta like when you post this, you gotta like say just to confirm Brett does not have COVID.
He's not COVID negative.
If I can only get a test. But what I say, yeah. So look, it's interesting. It's there's no previous past. So you get to different roles, and I think people take it differently. We're not in a place where people don't see it. So to say it doesn't exist is, I think, ignorant, because there are people who do see it. As long as anyone sees it or recognize you for that piece, then it's there. So it's I'm in meetings. I'm usually the only one in most meetings. So it's I think I try to make sure my reputation and the things I say validate. I try to have a chip on my shoulder per se, where it's like, oh, let me overly show them, because then I don't want to look I'm trying too hard. But at the end of the day, the stuff that I do say in the comments, I like for people to very quickly be like, oh yeah, I get it, or that I'm not questioning it, or I think there's some other reason why he's here, or etc. Right. Which is, look, that's something that alone, the fact that I have that thought is we think about it, other people don't, is a privilege of not thinking about it. So, it kind of, it is what it is, but, if anything, it, hopefully makes us try a little bit harder and, success a little bit, better. So
absolutely. Yeah.
I'll never complain. I'll just, keep doing the best you can do. And, it's
right. Like my dad said, hey, I've been Black all my life. Like this
exactly.
It is what it is. So
it wasn't an option. So,
right.
And it's good. And the other part is, I try to, let's say normalize it, but I'll call someone out in a second. It's no one's trying to pretend to be something else. So if someone says something like, I don't want to use the R word, but it seemed a little, and
we know you will, which I need more people like that. It is,
and I'll keep it 100 with everyone. And not in a way that makes someone feel like, attacked or like it's like a HR issue, but it's just like, yeah, like you have to be able to kind of like put it out there, and it needs to be a dialogue or just things that honestly people to think about that they might not otherwise think about, and
which is even more scary. The fact that most of the time they don't. I hate to say it, the person doesn't think anything's wrong with it, which for me is worse than someone who knowingly does something offensive and it's
you don't know, and it's like, and look, you don't know what you don't know, and that's the
that's the point.
That's the point. It's so you got to kind of put it out there, and it is what it is. I tried to hold in that cough because see, I mean, you got a little dashboard. What was it?
I know. I'm gonna like, bing. You know what? You're gonna.
See, we said before. I should have got my drink.
I'm gonna put disclaimer.
Some water.
You concentrated in obviously we all got the degree in economics, and marketing is the concentration, right?
Marketing and management were my concentration.
Okay.
Almost a legal studies, 2 more classes.
Oh yeah, legal studies.
But anybody have time for those extra credits?
Except you, because you're super efficient.
Well, yeah, but
you have 3 concentrations. Most people on average have what, 2?
No, I had 2. Management marketing. That's it.
Oh,
almost legal studies.
Oh, okay.
I needed 2 more classes. I'm saying I didn't. We have. Senior year, I wasn't trying to have 5 classes senior year. That's all.
And I highly doubt, even if you have that concentration, it would have changed the trajectory of
nothing at all. I could just say it. I could have just said it now, though, and you would have been like, "Oh, you got 3 concentrations."
Right. Yeah.
That's the only reason I would have done it.
3 coughs, 3 concentrations.
I would have taken back my previous answer. If I could tell myself something 15 years ago, I'd say, "Go for that concentration because you're going to be one day on Brit Happens, and you're going to say you had 3 concentrations."
3 concentrations and look like okay.
Facts.
Anyway, all right. Facts. The last thing you ordered on Amazon.
Board games. I just ordered like 6 board games for the kids.
Okay.
Monopoly Junior and a bunch of other stuff. And also probably something. My orders are usually big. So I probably ordered something like another like Echo or something like that. Who knows? I have an Amazon addiction.
Yeah. So I'm like, that's the one investment where I'm like, these shares are relatively expensive, but they pay off.
I like statuses. That's my thing. Like I like my airline status, my hotel stat. Like I like having.
I'm so happy that you're so upfront about it. That's amazing because people try to make you feel bad if you like. It makes me feel. I mean, I know I'm special, but I want to feel. Yeah. Hello, I'm special.
If you want to call me Diamond, I'm good with that. I'm a points whore. I like the status. I like all my metal cards. I mean, right. Who doesn't want that?
What's your favorite word besides status?
That out of context sounds terrible. I mean, I'm trying to think of a different because I would usually say efficiency, but we kind of beat that one down.
I mean, we beat it down because it's true. Efficiency
and synergy. I like, I like making things better. What's that?
I said, okay, Huntsman Hall.
I know, Manager 100, Manager 101. What was it?
Who was your teacher, professor?
For Manager 100?
Yeah.
All I remember is Stefan and
oh right.
On my team. We had 3 Black people on the same team, which was 3 on that same team, which was out of 40 total. Class. That's a lot.
Because after freshman year, didn't like half of what happened to the Black population?
Yeah, I won't use any names, but yeah, some people.
Oh, you're right. Never mind. That's mean.
Some people didn't. Didn't finish. This is supposed to be uplifting, so we're not going to talk about
You're right. This is uplifting.
You know, but they finished somewhere else because they finished in the place they were supposed to finish.
Brandon, stop it.
Just saying.
You're right. Okay, what they could have told themselves in 10 years.
It's not to go there to begin with because you weren't meant to finish there.
Oh my goodness, it's just so refreshing when someone is more ruthless than me.
This is me being tame.
So you say that you also oversee or manage what? The suite?
Hospitality. So,
Hospitality.
what we try to do in the past few years is do more hospitality with our clients. So, whether it's suites or access to certain things, just ways to engage for our sales team to engage with clients.
Oh, cool.
So it's fun. So I get to, enjoy the perks of that, with different stuff.
Are very obvious.
What's that?
I mean, they're very obvious. I just love how you're like, yeah, And I said, wait a minute, let me let him finish the sentence because I'm in the rewind. I want to make sure I heard it correctly without having to play this over.
It's fun. I'll get salespeople like, oh wait, you get to come to all these things. I'm like, yeah, maybe.
I know. I was like, hello. Okay.
It's a lot of work though, a lot of phone calls and contracts and getting good deals.
But just imagine how many people are still doing, not that they're working as hard as you, but putting in this work and still making their jobs, which unfortunately most people. That's why I said I hate complaining. I'm just like, move to Bloomberg or
something else. Yeah, find something else. Find what's
exactly.
Something else is out there. If I just complained and moved, I wouldn't be doing any of this right now. So I would just be.
Brandon, honestly, this was, you have exceeded my expectations.
Oh, well, I appreciate that.
For sure. And you didn't even promise anything. You were just like, oh yeah, sure, I'm moving.
Under promise over, I told you, manage expectations.
This was really good. And it was
good to catch
up with you. So thank you for taking the time. I know you were a little bit annoyed from the last call, but hopefully your mind has shifted.
Last call, not with you, to be clear, anyone.
Oh, right. Yeah. Some other people.
My day job, but yeah, no, it's good. No, I appreciate it's fun. Maybe we'll catch up outside of recording.
Oh, sorry, go ahead. I cut you.
No, I said maybe we'll catch up outside of recording.
Yes. Okay, I'm gonna press stop. I mean, bye. Thanks.
Bye.